Okay, so we're going to look at the law of supply. Yes, we have to define what is supply. Okay. Supply is basically the quantity of goods produced and sold in the market or sold in the market. Okay. Supply is the quantity of goods produced and sold in the market. The law of supply says there is a positive relationship between price and the the quantity supplied. Meaning, if the price goes up, a supplier or a producer will want to produce more. Why? Because they'll make more revenue. Okay, and that revenue can also translate to more profits, so long as the costs don't rise as much as the production. Okay, so basically, so put ceteris paribus. Okay, yeah. So the reason why there's this positive relationship is because of the profit motive. Okay, let's say for example, if you're producing 100 kg of maize and the Food Reserve Agency is buying each kg at 150 kwacha, 150 kwacha per kg. So if you sell all your 100 kgs, 100 times 150, you're getting 15,000. You make a 15,000 kwacha. Okay. Now, if the Food Reserve Agency says, okay, now we're buying each kg at 300 kwacha per kg. Okay. You as a supplier, you can still supply this 100 kg. Okay, you still make a good amount. But if you increase your supply, let's say you bump it from 100 to 200, 200 kg, you're going to make more money. 200 times 300, you're going to get 60,000 kwacha. Okay. So that is the incentive. Okay, the price goes up, you produce more. Okay, yes. Price go down, you produce less. All right. So let me draw the graph for the supply function. Let me just transfer this to PDF because that's where I have the draw to. Okay, so this is our supply curve. You have price on the y-axis, you have quantity. So this positive relationship, as we remember, is represented by an upward sloping curve like this. All right. And we need to remember the difference between change in quantity supplied and change in supply. So change in quantity supplied, this is a movement along the supply curve. Okay. Movement along supply curve caused by a change in price. Okay. So for example, just to illustrate this example here, okay, when Food Reserve Agency is buying maize at 150 kwacha per kg, supply curve for this farmer, they'll be able to supply 100 kg of maize. But if the price increases from 150 150 kwacha per kg to 300 kwacha per kg, this supplier is going to want to produce more maize. So they produce 200 kg of maize. Okay, so this is a change in quantity supplied, okay, from point A to point B. Okay, change in quantity supplied. Yes. And it's only price that causes this, right? And then you have change in supply. Okay. And this is caused by non-price determinants, meaning price doesn't cause this. Okay. Price doesn't cause this. Okay. So change in supply, this is where you have shifts in the supply curve. Okay. You have a supply curve like this. If it shifts to the right like this is an increase. Okay. This is an increase. Then if it shifts to the left, this is a decrease. Okay. So we have to look at what are the factors that can cause these changes. Okay. Number one, you have actions of government. These actions of government, let's see. These actions include taxes. Okay. Just remember, anything that can cause the cost of production to go up or down will affect supply. Okay. If the cost of production go up, it will affect supply. You produce less. If the cost of production go down, it what's this? It will help supply and you produce more. Okay, so taxes makes cost of production go up. Therefore, you usually see a shift in the on the on the left for the supply curve, showing a decrease in supply. Okay, so taxes usually decrease supply. You've got subsidies. Okay, this is financial aid by government to industries. Okay, even to the citizens of the nation. The purpose of a subsidy is to lower the cost of production. Okay, just like there is the war in Iran, so certain businesses in Zambia are going to be affected by high costs of production because fuel is going to go up. So what the government can do to help those businesses is subsidize their businesses, maybe give them some money, maybe lower some taxes, okay, so that these businesses can still stay afloat and produce more. Okay, so subsidies will increase supply. Okay, under taxes, you have got tariffs. Okay, tariffs is another tax, so it will still have the same. A tariff is just a special tax added to imported goods. Okay, if a companies are importing goods from a certain country and the Zambian government imposes tariffs, it means importing those goods will be expensive. So the supplier is going to transfer that expense to the consumer through higher prices. Okay. But other times you find it to affect how much also how much can be produced. Because since now it's more expensive to bring in the imported raw materials, so the supplier will produce less. But the suppliers remain profitable in his business. That's why they'll pass on the charge to you with a higher price. Okay. Even embargoes, trading embargoes. Okay. An embargo is just a restriction to trade with certain countries. Okay, so if an embargo is placed on Zambia, Zambia can trade with certain countries. Certain raw materials cannot be imported, which will affect supply. Okay, so embargoes are restrictions imposed by other countries limiting trade. Even quotas. Okay, a quota is also a restriction of how much goods can come into the nation. Okay, so if for example you're a company that produces furniture, and let's say you import goods from Namibia, and Zambia imposes a quota and says that the wood that's coming from Namibia from 1 million tons should drop to 500,000 tons. It means less raw materials are coming in. So it means less of the wood that you need is coming in. And since less of the wood that's coming in, it means you produce less because you don't have all the raw materials. The raw materials are less now. So you're going to produce less, and what will happen? You will transfer that to the customer through higher prices. Okay. Yes. So actions by government, the tariffs, embargoes, subsidies, quotas, import duties, those can affect supply. Okay. Number two is price of inputs. Okay. Raw materials, labor. Okay. We can also put capital. Okay. Even land. Okay. If land gets expensive, you cannot, especially if you're a farmer, or maybe if you're a business where you want to now expand and increase production, it will be expensive for you. Just hold on. Hello. 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 Can you get me? Mhm. Yeah. Sorry about that, sir. Sorry about that. Yeah. Where was I? Yeah, prices of inputs, raw materials, land, labor, and capital. Okay, if the raw materials get expensive, you bring in less raw materials, you purchase less. When you purchase less, you produce less. So if you're a miller, you produce midi meal, the price of maize goes up, you buy less maize. When you buy less maize, it means you produce less midi meal. Okay. If workers are asking for a raise, okay, and they want higher wages, remember labor is a very important and a big cost to companies, right? So if workers are asking for higher wages, okay, you find if the company cannot fulfill that, what's going to happen is they'll have to lay off workers. And if they lay off workers, what's going to happen? You're going to produce less. Okay, you're going to produce less. So those are the main shifters of supply. Others that you can have also externalities, okay, positive and negative externalities, or shocks, positive or negative shocks. These are, for example, positive shocks, good weather, okay, new inventions, new discoveries. Okay, new discoveries can help certain businesses, certain industries to help them produce more. Good weather helps farmers harvest more of their crops, right? Then you've got negative shocks. The negative shocks are wars, pandemics, other natural disasters. Those can affect supply. If a country like, for example, like Japan gets hit by a tsunami or an earthquake, that tsunami or earthquake will destroy some factories, and though it's going to halt production for a while. So, if find supply of a certain good is going to reduce, right? So, these are the main shifters of supply, the non-price determinants, right? Yes.